glad to have been able to say this, probably for the first, certainly for the first and probably the last time. And I also will be short in my remarks. I've taken over, my name is John Lloyd, I'm a journalist, and I've taken over from Roderick Braithwaite, who the speaker mentioned, as chairman of the advisory board of the Moscow School of Political Studies. Roderick, who is over there, pledged himself to do it for 1 year. And he did it for 1 year, except for the 20 years which he asks to be taken into account as well. He did it with the enormous distinction. He grumbled a bit, he after all was a diplomat, but he was always prevailed on to stay. He was in at the beginning of the Moscow School, when the Moscow School was a gleam in the eyes of Lena and Yuri, and he put a modest amount of funds from the British taxpayer to start the school. In these 1 in 20 years, he has been an inspiration, not just to Lena and Yuri, to the staff of the Moscow School, but also, and perhaps as important as any, to the people who came to the school, to the thousands of people who have passed through the school, who are now the alumni of that school, some are here today, to whom he spoke in almost flawless Russian, at least once a year and often many more than that, traveling to Moscow, to Golitsino, just outside of Moscow, and elsewhere in Russia. Roderick is no great fan on the export of democracy. He's a fan of democracy, but not so much of exports. But what he did have, and what he brought to the school, was what is its core value. This core value and core activity has been to open minds and mouths, to open minds to a whole number of different strains of thought, both Eastern and Western, but also to open mouths so that people could debate, could talk among themselves. He will be missed, greatly missed as chairman, but he won't be missed as a person, because he'll remain as a participant and the most honoured friend of the school. So, Roderick Braithwaite.